Today we're going to review solving equations. We solve a lot of equations in geometry. The first thing that we're going to review is simplifying expressions. We look for an equal sign. No equal sign means we are not solving, we are just simplifying. When we simplify, we often use the distributive property. And we use that property when we see parentheses. So here you can see the parentheses here and here. You can see that every one of these problems in the screen has parentheses. So we're going to distribute. Here we're going to distribute an 8 to both items inside the parentheses. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 2x is 16x. Here we're going to distribute a 4 to both items. 4 times negative 8r and 4 times 4. Let's pause. Let you guys try this problem. Now here, you're distributing a negative number. So negative 6 times 6x is negative 36x. And negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Sometimes, after we distribute, we have to combine like terms. So if we look at this first one, we see the 9 will be distributed. 9 times 9m is 81m. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27 plus 6. Here we have two numbers, or constants, that can be combined into one. Negative 27 plus 6 is negative 21. And that's done. Let's have you guys try this. We'll pause the video. Now, if we distribute the 10 to both terms, we'll have negative 2. 10 times negative 3n is negative 30n. 10 times 4 is 40. And here we have two numbers, a negative 2 and a positive 40. That can be combined. So we'll have negative 30n plus 38. I'll pull these next two up that you have on your page. This third one is kind of hard because we're distributing a negative 2. If you look here, this negative 2 has to be distributed to both terms. So we have to multiply through by a negative 2. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 2 times negative 9p is positive 18p. And now we'll have you guys try that next one. We'll pause the video. So in this problem, we're going to have to distribute a negative 7, negative 7 times p, negative 7 times 3, And now you can see that we have two terms that need to be combined that have the variable. These are like. So negative 7p minus 10p is negative 17p minus 21. And so that is how we combine like terms and how we distribute. Put this back in full screen. We'll go to the next slide, the next page in your packet. Now here's where things begin to change a little bit because we're going to be solving equations. We see an equal sign. So these are all one step on this page where we're solving for the variable. In this problem, 3 plus p equals 8, we need to move the 3. And the 3 is positive. So we move that by subtracting 3 from both sides. And we get p equals 5. Here, the 8 plus v, we need to move the 8. So we'll subtract 8. So v equals 26 minus 8, which is 18. Now this third one, just erase a little bit. This third one has a negative 15 next to the variable. So in order to get rid of that, we actually have to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition on both sides. So n equals negative 9 plus 15, n is 6. I'm going to pause the video for just a minute. I'm going to have you work on this second row. Now that you've had a chance to work on them, I'm going to solve them through for you. See if you got the right answer. B is 8. P is 1. And V equals negative 12. So I hope those went well. If not, we'll talk about them. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next part of the page. There's still one-step equations, but here's where we have multiplication and division. If we look at this first problem, we have 10n equals 40. 10n is the same as saying 10 times n. So to get the 10 away from the variable, we do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. 10 divided by 10 becomes 1, or just n. 4 divided by 10 becomes 4. I'm going to ask you to try these two while we pause the video. If we divide by 14, we'll get b equals negative 4. If we divide by 8 on both sides, we'll get negative 13. Down here in the bottom, we're going to come down to here first, because here we're still multiplying. The negative 15x is still multiplying. But I wanted to show you this one. This one's kind of a special case. So you'll still have x, but 0 divided by anything is 0. Don't see that too often, but it does happen occasionally. Now these last two, the b is being divided by 18. So the opposite of 18, I'm sorry, the opposite of dividing by 18 is multiplying by 18. 18 divided by 18 becomes 1b, or just b. The 18 times negative 6 is negative 108, and you're finished. Over here, the variable is being divided by 8. So the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So we'll have b equals 8 times 2, which is 16. And so that's pretty much our one-step equations summarized on that one page. What we're going to do now is move on to two-step equations. Have to erase the board here. A little short to be doing that. There we go. Move into the next page. And really all we're going to be doing here is doing our two-step equations. I think what we're going to do is wait on those multi-step equations until tomorrow. So if you can see here, we have some two-step equations at the top and then some multi-step. We're just going to do these two-step today and then stop. We'll do a little practice. So here with the two-step equations, we have to get the 1 and the negative 9 away from the x. So the first thing we will do, because the 1 is positive, is subtract 1 from each side. And then we'll divide by negative 9 on each side. And get x equals 9, positive 9. Here we have to get rid of the 5 and the negative 4. The 5 is positive. So we'll subtract 5 on both sides. Negative 4m, negative 20, and now we'll divide by negative 4m. I'm sorry, just by negative 4. M is equal to 5. I'll give you a moment. I'm going to pause the video, ask you to try this one. So we have to move the 7 and the 8. (31 minus 7 is 24. Divide both sides by 8. And n is 3. We'll save those multi-step ones for the next class when we do the Desmos calculator.